welcome to this week's blog, which is going to be a wee chat because I'm here on Salty Lass.
And I'm here in Liverpool.
Talking of Liverpool, I'm actually wearing my Mayor of Liverpool hat, which goes with my Mayor of Liverpool jacket. And as you can see, I've actually put badges on it. And these badges represent all the things that Beverly and I have done since we took up this blog. And it starts right down here when we bought Salty Lass in Scotland. Then just a couple of sails later, we had to follow an RLI lifeboat into Port Patrick. Then once we'd done that, we left Port Patrick and we went to the Isle of Man. And then it was a long old motor all the way to Liverpool. So this is a story of what Beverly and I have done. But talking of Beverly and Liverpool, let's see what she has to say.
One of the things we did while we were in Liverpool, or Gaynor did at any rate, was to help out with the tall ships. Now, it was an event in the city of Liverpool, had a lot to do with it, including the Lord Mayor's office. And one of the things that you got red jackets and shirts like that, so that you could be identified as a helper for the tall ships. And of course, Gaynor being in the thick of things, got herself a red jacket. One of the other things that we also helped out with in Liverpool was the Clipper race. Liverpool Yacht Club, which is over here behind me, was the host club for the start of the race because our president is Sir Robin Knox-Johnson, who runs the race. And I got a bit of a surprise when I got an email saying, well, but they're in 6 weeks with all these big boats, are you ready? And we thought, really? News to me. And as club treasurer, I had a bit of a shock and had to sit down, have 2 Panadols and a cup of coffee to steady my nerves, or a large shot of rum, can't remember which. So we did the helping out with the Clipper boats, and as one of the little things that we had as the sponsoring club was we got a lot of Clipper merch, including the Clipper hats. Having seen the boats, I'm not crazy enough to go on one of those for 6 weeks because I like my comfort too much.
So now I want to talk about this badge here, which is an RNLI badge for Campbelltown. The main reason it's Campbelltown is mainly because RNLI badges were by far and away the easiest cloth badges that I could get. But the thing I want you to bring your attention to is these 4 little triangles round the outside of the badge. Now these 4 triangles represent the 4 Winds, which was a speedboat that Beverly and I rescued. Now, when I saw the name 4 Winds, I actually thought it was the name of the boat. But I have since found out it was actually the manufacturer of the speedboat that we rescued, because we've got a speedboat manufactured by the 4 Winds here in Bangor. The only difference is the one that we rescued was a wee bit smaller than the one we have here in the marina. And of course, the one we rescued didn't have any of the canopy or anything like that. It was just an open motorboat, because they mainly used it for fishing. But anyway, this is a wee story of about us when we rescued a motorboat.
So we were coming out of Rothesay in Scotland on the Isle of Bute, and nice little town, nice little shops, everything's nice about it. But as we came out, we noticed a motorboat doing very un-motorboaty things. Basically, instead of going around at high speed or going around in circles or jumping around, they were sitting completely still in the water, miles offshore, and all the people inside were looking into the bottom of the boat, which is definitely not motorboaty behaviour. So we approached them, and as we got closer and closer, they paid no attention to us, so we gave them a blast on the horn, and that did get their attention, and they jumped up and sort of saw a large boat bearing down on them. And we asked them, were they okay? And they said, no, we're not really. The engine's packed up. So we asked them if they needed any help. Had they called for any assistance? Had they set off flares or used their VHF radio? And it turned out they had no flares They had no VHF radio. They had nothing to use as a heliograph to signal with light, and they were in a telephone dead zone, which meant that the communication they decided to rely on didn't work. It's all right, we're just waiting for you to move on because I do want to just catch your conversation.
So the motorboat decided that they wanted to be towed back to their marina. So what we did was we got one of our long mooring lines and we attached it to the front of their boat, and then we attached the other end of the mooring line to Salty Lass. So we didn't have any sails up. It wasn't that kind of day. It was a motor day at best anyway. But we then had to motor very slowly. I mean, say all of a sudden we were motoring with 2 boats rather than 1, with the little motorboat following us on the end of the mooring line. And we motored all the way to about a mile outside of their marina. Then we contacted their marina and we basically found out what they wanted us to do. And they wanted us to have the motorboat on the side of Salty Lass rather than behind us. I can understand that because it is a lot easier to manoeuvre in tight positions when you've got a boat on the side, and then motor round to the fuel pontoon. So that's what we did.
So we towed them into the marina. We got ourselves all sorted out. We arranged to see them the next night because they said they would take us out to dinner as a thank you. We never saw them again. Now, sadly, we've got no footage of this great little adventure to illustrate the story with because they didn't want to be on camera. And so we don't put people on camera if they don't want to be on camera. But the incident with the dinner, we weren't actually expecting a dinner, but it would have been nice. And they said they were going to give us one, and they didn't. But it led to one of our little sayings that we use, which is bank it early. So basically what we should have done was leave the boat where it was, go eat the dinner, rather than go away and come back. We should have banked it early. We should have said, right, we'll do that now, we'll move the boat later. So there you go. That's why on Salty Lass we use that expression. And I think for a lot of sailing activities, bank it early is actually a very sensible thing to do. If you have a choice between doing something early or doing something later, we find it's better to do it early because then later on you may not get the opportunity. Never miss an opportunity. That's what we say.